In 1953, the United States Bullion Depository at Fort Knox completed the last full physical count of America's official gold reserve. And in the 70-plus years since, no independent auditor has ever been allowed to verify that what's listed on paper is still sitting in those vaults. Not once fully, from top to bottom. By the end of this, you'll understand why the most heavily guarded gold on Earth has never been checked again. Fort Knox sits on Army land in Kentucky, a low granite building finished in 1936, built to hold the gold the government pulled out of private hands after the Gold Reserve Act. The vault door alone weighs 22 tons. Tanks patrol the perimeter. Officially, the depository holds around 147 million ounces of gold, worth hundreds of billions of dollars. For most of its history, it sat quietly, doing exactly what a vault is supposed to do, being trusted and being left alone. That 1953 count wasn't even a true independent audit. It was Treasury employees, counting Treasury gold, reporting to the Treasury. Still, it stands as the last time anyone tried to verify the whole reserve bar by bar. In 1974, facing mounting public pressure and rumors that the gold was gone, the government allowed a small group of congressmen and reporters inside for a supervised viewing. They saw a handful of bars near the entrance. They did not see the deeper vault compartments. A limited audit by government auditors that same year checked a fraction of the holdings and called it representative. No one has opened the compartments for a full recount since. Ask the Treasury why, and the answer has stayed remarkably consistent for decades. Security. Moving gold to weigh it creates risk. The cost of a full independent audit would run into the tens of millions. And besides, they say the gold isn't backing currency anymore. It hasn't been since 1971, so what would counting it even prove? That explanation holds up right until you notice something. Every other asset the federal government reports, every trust fund, every reserve, every holding, gets audited by outside eyes on a regular schedule. This one asset, sealed behind a 22-ton door, has been exempted from that standard for longer than most Americans have been alive. If there's truly nothing to find, the refusal itself becomes the mystery. Now watch what makes it impossible to just take on faith. In 1974, Congressman Philip Crane and a handful of colleagues who pushed for that supervised viewing left more suspicious than when they arrived, not less, because they'd been shown a curated slice of the depository, not the whole thing, and told to extrapolate. Government accountability, office reports across the following decades quietly documented partial inspections, sealed compartments never opened, and inventory reconciliation methods that relied on paper records from prior decades rather than fresh physical counts. In 2017, the Treasury Secretary made a widely photographed visit and stood beside stacked bars for the cameras. It was treated by the press as reassurance. It verified nothing beyond what was staged in that room. And for decades, a persistent rumor has circulated in gold markets and among former Treasury officials, never confirmed, never fully debunked, that some of the depository's bars, or gold once meant for it, were quietly replaced or supplemented with tungsten cord counterfeits at some point during the Cold War, when gold prices and government secrecy both spiked at once. Tungsten and gold weigh almost identically. A visual count would never catch it. Only a full physical assay, drilling, weighing, testing composition would. That test has not been run on the reserve as a whole, not in 1953, not since. Here's what that means: whether or not a single bar has ever been swapped. The entire foundation of confidence in the U.S. gold reserve rests on a chain of trust that was forged once in 1953 and has never been independently re-verified since. Every dollar of value assigned to that reserve, every claim made about America's financial backstop, depends on records nobody outside the Treasury has fully checked against the physical metal. Whoever benefits from that arrangement, and an unaudited asset always benefits someone, whether through avoided embarrassment, avoided cost, or something harder to name, has had 70 years of uninterrupted cover. Institutions rarely guard something that closely without a reason. Usually the reason isn't the gold itself. It's what counting it might reveal about who's been telling the truth. So ask yourself this. If there's genuinely nothing to hide inside Fort Knox, why after more than 7 decades, 3 generations of Treasury secretaries, and every advance in auditing technology since 1953, has an independent, full physical count still never been allowed to happen?